Well, let's go ahead and jump right in and talk about our mutual friend Lee Shaw. Did you guys sit down and compare notes and trying to find this guy, or was it just kind of like how did that all work out?
Yeah, we were in two different places, but
he was in Greece,
just outside of Italy,
and I was in LA and Miami, and it was 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. and we'd get up and talk about the character and go through the script and talk about things we liked and things we didn't like and wanted to talk to the writers about. And so we spent a lot of time doing that. And it was fun. It ended up great, and I'm happy we put the time in.
Yeah. It was a collaboration putting this guy together. We were just a casting idea. So he wasn't written with us in mind.
Right.
Sure. Kurt, I've had the pleasure of talking to John Carpenter a couple of times, and he's a big Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
As somebody that was on the ground when Godzilla first came stateside, like what made him stand out more than any other monster movie at the time?
Well, I saw him for the first time when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. Never forgot him. I always liked Godzilla. Godzilla both and King Kong. I always felt sorry for King Kong, and Godzilla was just like kind of amazing. When they stick with you like that, and then you have the opportunity 60 plus years later to do something, you kind of go, wow, Godzilla. The opportunity to work with Wyatt, to play the same person, create the same person, do it together. It had never been done. Two known actors playing the same role, father and son, has never been done before. We got fascinated by finding that out. So that was the two of those things were.
The other thing I think I realized is that I watched the original Godzilla a week ago. I think a lot of the stuff is like still kind of holds up. Like some of the Godzilla stuff is kind of great. And back then, even in like The Fly and stuff like that, it was
awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And but I don't.
Tarantula.
It was the best. Probably, it still was like really like the monster stuff was done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the Criterion collection. I highly recommend.
Yeah.
Well, Apple didn't spare any expense in doing these.
No.
The monsters here. And the fact that it's people-centric is when you see them, it has more impact, I think, than when you see them all the time.
Sure. Wyatt, I was talking to Anders earlier, and he kept referring to you and Mari as kind of a throuple. He kept, like a lot of those, Bill and Keiko are kind of the life that Lee could never have. How was it kind of like finding that rapport with him on set?
It was great because Anders is a writer. He's really smart. Mari, also a writer, really smart. So they wouldn't come to set on the day. Sometimes it can happen where an actor's like, I don't like this. And you're like, okay, great. Well, what do you want to do? Now that we're like an hour behind schedule. And they'd always come up with, they'd always be thinking about it, coming up with ideas so that like by episode 6, we were really like starting to be like, wait, we're pretty good together. Like this is like we're pretty good together. And our rapport is getting deeper. By the end of it, it was like something that I think I probably didn't even know was going to happen, where I was like, oh God, I like going to miss these guys a lot. Had a great time working with them. They added so much to things that I didn't think were going to be interesting or there the way they were. They were fantastic. So loved them.
Kurt, I was talking to, Anna and Kirsty and Ren. How was it? They said they took a lot of guidance and learned a lot from you working on set with them. Like, how was it working with those young bucks in these presentation sequences?
It's kind of the normal thing to feel that's the way it is. I've always said, and it remains to be true, I generally always learn more from watching and being in a scene with other actors than certainly they do from me. I don't know. You just kind of understand that you're the elder statesman. So, that's going to sort of be in the wind.
And that is my time.
That was fast.
I know, man. New episodes of Monarch, Legacy of Monsters every Friday on Apple TV+. This is Sam Stone, CBR. Gentlemen, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks.
Thank you.